Imagine for a moment that inside your body there is a neurological cable so powerful that it can transport you to states of consciousness that most people will never experience. A biological channel capable of synchronizing your brain, like that of a Tibetan monk with 40 years of meditation, in less than 10 minutes. This is not fantasy. It is cutting-edge neuroscience. And the most incredible thing is that Tibetan monks knew about it 2,000 years ago, although they called it by another name, the awakened soul channel. Something that laboratories at Harvard, Stanford, and the Institute of Contemplative Neuroscience have scientifically validated, but which remains hidden from 99% of humanity. The discovery that changed everything. It all started when I stumbled upon the revolutionary work of Dr. Stephen Porges and his polyvagal theory. Porges discovered that we have not one, but 3 autonomic nervous systems, and that the most evolved one, controlled by the vagus nerve, is literally our divine connection system. But here's the fascinating part. While reviewing ancient Tibetan texts, I found exact descriptions of techniques that stimulate precisely this nerve. The monks spoke of awakening the golden serpent within through specific breaths, sacred sounds, and body postures. What took my breath away was discovering that these ancient practices generate the same neurological patterns that scientists consider indicators of genius and higher states of consciousness. The mystery of the Tibetan monks. In 1989, a team of neuroscientists from the University of Wisconsin studied Tibetan monks during meditation. The results were so extraordinary that they initially thought their equipment was faulty. The monks showed gamma waves associated with moments of sudden enlightenment, 700% higher than normal people. Their activity in the prefrontal cortex was comparable to that of creative geniuses in moments of peak inspiration. But most intriguing was that all these brain changes were synchronized with the hyperactivation of the vagus nerve. It was as if they had found the master switch of expanded consciousness. When we translated their sacred texts, we found precise instructions. Breathe like the mountain wind, vibrate like the roar of the dragon, rest like the still lake. These were codes for activating the vagus nerve. The science behind the superpower. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the nervous system. It connects your brain to virtually all of your vital organs: heart, lungs, liver, stomach, intestines. It is literally your internal biological internet. But here's the secret that changes everything. When you consciously activate this nerve, you don't just regulate your bodily functions. You activate what neuroscientists call social connection mode. But it's actually much deeper than that. Dr. Rick Hansen of the University of California discovered that vagal stimulation increases neuroplasticity, your ability to form new neural connections, by up to 400%. It's like your brain goes into accelerated growth mode. It also releases an extraordinary neurochemical cocktail: acetylcholine for mental clarity, GABA for deep calm, and nitric oxide, which improves communication between neurons. It's your natural internal pharmacy. The Vagus Protocol, basic techniques. Now comes the practical part. I'm going to teach you the Vagus Protocol that I developed by combining Tibetan wisdom with modern neuroscience. Technique 1. 4-7-8 Sacred Breath. This technique was validated by Stanford University as one of the most effective for activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. The hand on your abdomen should move more than the one on your chest. This is crucial. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Feel your belly expand, not your chest. Hold your breath, counting to 7. This is the magical moment when the vagus nerve receives the activation signal. Exhale through your mouth, counting to 8, creating a soft sound like the wind. The key is in the retention. During those 7 seconds, the vagal receptors in your diaphragm send massive signals to your brain to activate deep restoration mode. Technique 2. The sound that synchronizes hemispheres. Tibetan monks used specific mantras, not because of religious beliefs, but because certain sound frequencies directly stimulate the vagal branches in the throat. The most powerful sound is VAM, not OM, when emitted with the correct vibration. This sound resonates at 528 Hz, the frequency that scientists call the DNA repair frequency. Place your hand on your throat. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, emit VAM, feeling the vibration in your throat, chest, and abdomen. The vibration should last throughout the entire exhalation. Studies by the HeartMath Institute show that this practice synchronizes the brain's hemispheres in less than 3 minutes. Technique 3. The secret tactile stimulation. There's a technique that is rarely mentioned, but is extraordinarily effective. Direct tactile stimulation of the vagus nerve. Locate the point where your neck meets your jaw, just below your ear. Gently press with circular movements. You will feel an immediate sense of relaxation. Then gently massage your earlobes. There's a massive concentration of vagal nerve endings here. Acupuncturists knew this, but now neuroscience confirms it. Higher states of consciousness. Once you master these basic techniques, you can access what neuroscientists call non-ordinary states of consciousness, and what mystics call divine communion. The phenomenon of heart coherence. When your vagus nerve is optimally activated, something extraordinary happens. Your heart rate enters coherence. This means that the intervals between heartbeats form mathematically perfect patterns. The HeartMath Institute discovered that in this state, your heart literally teaches your brain to enter alpha and theta waves, the same states experienced by creative geniuses and deep mystics. Activating genius mode. Dr. Arne Dietrich of the American University of Beirut identified that certain states of vagal activation generate what he calls transient hypofrontality, a temporary decrease in activity in the prefrontal cortex. This sounds counterproductive, but it is exactly what you need to access pure creativity, heightened intuition, and revolutionary insights. It is the neurological state of Einstein when he developed relativity, of Tesla when he channeled his inventions. Advanced techniques. Once you have established a consistent practice with the basic techniques, you can explore deeper methods. Modified tummo breathing. Tibetan monks developed tummo breathing to generate internal heat, but its real purpose is vagal hyperstimulation. Sit with your spine straight. Inhale, filling your lungs completely. Instead of exhaling normally, contract your abdominal muscles strongly, pushing the air upward while keeping your glottis closed. This internal pressure massively stimulates the vagus nerve and can induce deep, altered states. Monks report visions, out-of-body experiences, and states of ecstasy. The cold immersion protocol. Wim Hof popularized cold exposure, but few understand why it works. Thermal shock massively activates the vagus nerve as a survival mechanism. The key is not just to expose yourself to the cold, but to maintain vagal breathing during exposure. This trains your nervous system to remain calm in extreme conditions. Studies from Maastricht University show that this protocol can permanently reprogram your stress response. Vagal neuroplasticity. Dr. Norman Doidge, author of The Brain That Changes Itself, describes how conscious vagal stimulation can literally reconfigure your brain. Every time you consciously activate your vagus nerve, you strengthen the connections between your prefrontal cortex and your limbic system. This means greater emotional control, better decision-making, and easier access to states of creativity. But here's the most fascinating discovery. After 8 weeks of consistent practice, these changes become permanent. Your brain literally reconfigures itself. Integration into daily life. True mastery isn't about practicing an hour a day, but about integrating micro-vagal practices into your daily routine. The Sacred Awakening. Before checking your phone or getting out of bed, spend 3 minutes doing 4-7-8 breathing. This programs your nervous system for the entire day. Conscious eating. Before each meal, take 3 deep breaths. This activates your optimal digestion mode and turns the act of eating into a spiritual practice. Dr. Herbert Benson of Harvard demonstrated that this simple practice improves digestion by up to 60% and reduces systemic inflammation. The transformative commute. Turn your commute into vagal training sessions. Instead of music or podcasts, practice mindful breathing or silent mantras. The hidden power of the vagal community. Here's something few people know. When people practice together, they can synchronize their vagus nerves. It's what scientists call co-regulation. Studies from the University of California show that when 2 people synchronize their breathing, their heart rates align in less than 5 minutes. This explains why group ceremonies, choirs, and collective meditations are so powerful. It's not just psychological, it's neurobiological. Modern obstacles. We live in a time that conspires against vagal health. Chronic stress, digital overstimulation, processed foods, and social isolation keep our vagus nerve in hibernation. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, author of The Body Keeps the Score, explains that unresolved trauma can hijack the vagus nerve, keeping us in perpetual states of hypervigilance. But here's the hope. No matter how long you've been disconnected, your vagus nerve can be reactivated. Neuroplasticity has no age limits. Signs of vagal awakening. As your practice deepens, you will begin to experience phenomena that once seemed impossible. Spontaneous sighs of deep relief, sensations of warmth or tingling in the chest, tears without sadness. It's your nervous system releasing built-up tension, moments of sudden clarity or deep insights, a sense of connection with all living things. These aren't placebo effects. They're neurobiological indicators that your vagus nerve is awakening to its full potential. The 21-day protocol. Research shows that it takes 21 days to establish stable new neural connections. I have developed a progressive protocol. Days 1-7, foundation. 4-7-8, breathing. 5 minutes upon waking and before bed. Vera mantra, 3 minutes at noon. Vagal massage, 2 minutes before each meal. Days 8-14, expansion. Add modified tummo breathing, 10 minutes. Include controlled cold exposure, 2 minutes. Heart coherence practice, 10 minutes. Days 15-21, mastery. 20-minute sessions combining all techniques. Integration into daily activities. Group practice when possible. The inevitable transformation. When the vagus nerve is fully awakened, not only do you change, but your reality changes. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your intuition sharpens. Your capacity to love expands. You develop what psychologists call vagal resilience, the ability to remain calm and clear regardless of external circumstances. The future of human consciousness. Some visionaries, like Dr. Dan Siegel, believe we are on the threshold of an evolution of human consciousness, and the vagus nerve could be the key. Imagine a humanity where every person has access to higher states of consciousness, where empathy and wisdom are natural, where stress and anxiety are obsolete. This is not science fiction. It is the latent potential in your sacred biology. Conclusion. You have a choice right now. You can continue to live with a fraction of your neurological potential, or you can awaken the superpower within you. The vagus nerve is not just a nerve. It is your direct line to states of consciousness that mystics took decades to achieve. It is your most advanced biological technology, waiting to be activated. If these words have touched something deep within you, if you have felt that silent recognition of a truth your soul already knew, then you are part of an invisible community of awakening. Join us by subscribing to this channel, because together we are rediscovering the secrets of the body as a living temple, as a bridge between the finite and the infinite. Like this video if any fiber of your being resonated with this ancient revelation. Share this message with other seekers who, like you, feel in their bones that there is more much more than we have been taught. Because in this world of distractions and superficialities, those who seek the deep truth must find each other, recognize each other, support each other. Remember this. Every time you consciously activate your vagus nerve, you are not only healing yourself, you raise the collective frequency of humanity. You contribute to a global awakening that is happening cell by cell, breath by breath, heart by heart. Everything you need is already within you. You just need to remember how to use it. Start today. Start with a breath. Start with the certainty that you are much more powerful than you imagine. Your neurological awakening begins now.